This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Helping you find emotional, spiritual, and physical balance. What does your future hold? It's time to find out with Psychic Suzanna.
Yes, you are exactly where you need to be. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You find us here every Sunday night, and we talk about things that will support you in your tomorrows. We're all about empowering you with the ideas we get from the authors, the lecturers, the people who come into our studio. And yes, Jim, down below we have Tim McGraw from the Omaha Fire Department at our front door. Just between you and me. All right?
We'll take care of it.
All right. This show tonight is about survival and thriving through the dramas that life brings you. You know, accidents don't have a warning. And when you have an accident, it's not the accident that counts. It's what you do with what happens. And so we have someone on the air today called who is going to talk to us a little bit about that. But first, I want to remind you, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you would have had a little bit of a notice of who's going to be on the number. So please join me on Facebook with Life with Psychic Suzanna, or Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. I try to put out an intention, a positive thought every day that I'm working on. I ask you to work on it with me. It's all about getting better every single day of our life. Please join us on Facebook with KFAB. You know, this is the station where you find out what you need to know, and sometimes things we don't want to know, but we hear it because we need to be informed. We need to be kept up with the latest news around, and KFAB is the source for that. Right now, though, I want you to know we're going to be going to our author. The author is of the book Self-Esteem Doesn't Come in a Bottle. Also, she wrote the book No Risk, No Reward. She was burned at 2. Also, as we're talking about it, J.R. Martinez, who was on Dancing with the Stars, was a wounded veteran who was burned with 2. It's all about being proud to show your scars. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be honored, and so honored to be on your show today. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, tell us a little bit how this all started, would you? How you were burned?
Absolutely. Well, imagine, Susanna, that, you're 21 and you gave up your first baby for adoption, at 16.
Right.
You had your second baby at 19, a little baby girl, which was me. And then, you're pregnant with your third baby.
Wow.
And, you happen to be, cooking supper and your nephews are over and they want to go outside and play. And you have a decision to make, about whether or not you're going to let your 2-year-old daughter go out and play with the cousins. And so you decide to let her go out and play. And not even 5 minutes later, you hear screaming and you look outside and there's your 2-year-old daughter, covered in flames. And so, my mom ran outside, and here she is, 21, barefoot and pregnant, and, here she is with me, in flames, right? So, it took me to the hospital, and, of course, I spent 3 months in the hospital, and, every 2 years after that I had to have surgeries because, of course, they needed me to grow so that I would have more skin so that they could do more reconstructive surgery on me. So, every second year I spent, my summer in the hospital.
Wow. So what in your book you tell us that your mother told you that you were normal. Is that correct? She never let you get away with being a victim?
No, absolutely not. In fact, when I got burnt and when they released me from the hospital, my doctor told my mom, if you don't treat her normal and put her in school, I will have her taken away and I will get somebody else to look after her. And so my parents said, absolutely not. That is not an option. And in fact, my grandma was telling me a story one time when a lady came up to her and said, you take Kelly out in public? And my grandma said, absolutely. So she's our granddaughter. We're not ashamed of her. We love her. And so I was never treated any different from my family. You know, as far as they were concerned, I was just as normal as anybody else. So,
okay.
yeah.
So you were treated as normal, even though you were burned over 80% of your body, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Correct. And do you remember much of the recovery? Do you remember the pain? Do you remember, what is it you remember of that?
Well, I don't remember any of the actual accident because I was too young. I was only 2.
Right.
So I do remember my surgeries after I was about 5 years old, and I remember that. So I don't remember any of the pain, but, you know, I do remember the pain that I had, you know, with my surgeries after that. So there was a time when they did some skin grafts on me, and, you know, so they had to do skin grafts underneath my arms. And so, you know, I remember the pain of that, of them taking the stitches out, you know, and I remember when I was 16, I had breast surgery because my one breast was quite a bit lower than the other one, and my nipple had gotten burnt off the other one. And so they had to put skin grafts under each one of my breasts and, you know, wiggle them into place and, you know, put them so that they were even and that sort of thing. And, you know, and I had, I think, about 1,000 staples.
Oh,
because at that time, that time they were putting staples in. And so I remember that. You know, I remember my doctor, you know, taking each one of those staples out of me, right, and my mom being there. And, of course, you know, I'm crying my eyes out because I'm in a lot of pain. And, you know, I don't know why they don't give you painkillers, you know, when you're having your stitches taken out, right? They don't do that. But so, you know, I remember all of that.
Wow.
But I don't remember the actual accident. But I did get hypnotized once, though. Because when I was 18, I went through a whole phase where I wanted to know why I lived. Because back in 1968, you know, a 2-year-old getting burnt, you know, as extensively as I did, there's really not a whole lot of hope that, you know, a 2-year-old going to live through that.
Right.
And so I wanted to know why I lived. And so I went and I got hypnotized because my mom was also telling me that I did actually die at one time when I was in the hospital. And, you know, so I wanted to know why, right?
And what did the hypnotist help you find out?
They helped me find out that I did have a near-death experience where I got hypnotized and went right back to that day that I had died. And what it taught me was that, you know, I was, you know, above my body looking down, and I could see all the doctors and nurses, you know, working on me and frantically, you know, trying to make me come back to life.
So you experienced the whole thing through hypnosis.
Pardon me, sorry?
You experienced the whole through hypnotism?
Yeah, and I experienced that, and and there was me and my, you know, my God. We were discussing, you know, why I should live, and he basically told me, well, you're just too young to die, and you know, you need to live. You know, your grandpa and your sister are going to need you, and you need to live. And I said, okay.
Okay,
and
marvelous,
and I lived.
marvelous.
Yeah.
So when we come back from this, and Jim is running around catching all the people that I have to be in the studio, I want to ask you, you know, the name of the book is, tell me the name of the book again.
Well, my first book is No Risks, No Rewards, and that is my life story of how I went from near death to success. And then my second book is called Self-Esteem Doesn't Come in a Bottle. And how that one came about is many times women would come up to me and they would have a bottle of magic for me. And they would say, you know what, if you take this and put this on your scars, it's going to make your scars disappear and make you beautiful. And I didn't believe them because I knew that there was nothing that was ever going to take my scars away. And so I didn't believe them at all. And I just believed that, you know, your self-esteem has to come from your heart and soul. It doesn't come from any kind of magic in any kind of bottle.
Okay.
And,
you know what? We're going to take a break, and let's come back with that. Self-esteem doesn't come from a bottle. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna, 1110 KFAB. You check us out here every Sunday night. We're going to take you and give you knowledge that you can use in your tomorrows. Here we're talking about how to survive the scars of life. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna, KFAB.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. She knew I was going to say that.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. This is your destination point every Sunday night. We are here. We're going to be talking every Sunday about things that matter to you, giving you ideas of how to move forward in your life to make your life better with every thought, every day. Together, we can make this world a better place, one thought at a time. Join me on Facebook, Life with Psychic Suzanna. To find out what's coming on the show ahead. Also, Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. I'm there. I let you know where I'm going to be. I also give you an affirmation. You know, if we could join together with one thought at a time to make the world a better place, our thoughts do count. We've got to work with that. And then please join us at KFAB.com. That's where you get the radio shows. They'll be up on Tuesday. Scott puts them up by Tuesday. Also, you can also join us at KFAB.com, our Facebook. We have a great Facebook page, Instantaneous Information. So if you can't listen to us at work, you can see it online and you don't have to react too much. Here's the other thing. Have you tried that iHeart thing? What an app. How cool is that? Anywhere in the world you can listen to us every Sunday night at 7:30. Right now we have on the air with us Kelly Falardeau. Say your last name for me, please, Kelly.
It's Falardeau.
Falardeau. That's Italian. Yeah. It's Italian. Kelly,
no, it's actually French.
It is. Okay. Kelly Falardeau. Your webpage is mykelly. TF.com.
That's right.
And the reason I said T is because you have a saying on your Facebook, on your webpage that says, I help people take the T out of can't. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, what it means is so many people put judgments or reasons or things on their life on why they can't do something. And I show people how they can take that T out of the can't and say how I can do something. And, you know, I get so tired of people limiting themselves and saying, I can't do that. And my whole philosophy is if I want to do something, I'm going to say, how can I do that?
That's marvelous. It must have been rough. If you can tell me how, you know, some teenage years are just horrible to go through at times. But I can't imagine going through your teen years scarred.
Absolutely.
How do you handle the judgments of others?
You know, and that's totally true. I mean, my whole life I had to struggle with that. I had to struggle with being, you know, the ugly Scarface girl. And I knew that's what people were calling me. And, you know, that's what they were teasing me about and whispering behind my back. And, you know, I just realized that there was other people in my life who meant more to me than the people who were teasing me and staring at me. And my whole high school life, I never had boyfriends. And I wanted them so bad. I mean, I wanted to be like my friends who had boyfriends. But, you know, it was hard for the guys because they couldn't go over those boundaries. I mean, school is all about fitting in.
Right.
And, you know, to try and go and go out of your own little comfort zone and say, hey, I love the ugly Scarface girl, that would be really, you know, hard for the guys to do. Mm-hmm. And it's quite interesting because I found out actually about 8 months ago that I just found out a guy that I knew from I was 2-3 years old that he's always loved me, even in school. And
wait a minute, you're married, correct?
Pardon?
You're married
No,
now.
I'm not. I'm separated now.
But you've been married and you have how many children?
I have 3. I had a daughter that's 12, and then I lost a baby about 1.5 years after I had her, and then I ended up having a set of twin boys. And they're 9 years old now.
So you did get married, you did have children, you had what most people called a normal life in an unnormal body.
Exactly. And that was the whole thing. School was all about fitting in. And so I was, you know, wondering if I would ever be loved, I never even thought I would have kids because I thought, well, no guy likes me, so why would I even have kids? And why is marriage even an option for me? But as soon as I got out of high school, it was like a whole world opened up for me. And then it was when the guys were saying, yeah, you know, I was taught, you know, not to judge somebody by their look. And I met my ex-husband when I was 19 years old, and we ended up moving in together right away and then got married 10 years later. And then we were together, we were married for 14. So we were together for 24 years. We just separated a year ago. So, yeah, and so it was awesome because I was able to have a normal life, just like you said, even though I had an unnormal body. And, I mean, there was even question about whether I'd be able to carry, a baby because of where my scars were.
Right.
We were worried that my scars would even stretch enough.
Well, one of the things that I don't think people understand is that so many of us carry scars in our life, and yours were visible.
Right.
So many of our scars are personal and emotional, and where we're afraid of reaching out. And I can imagine having a scarred body, having that duplicated on the inside, being afraid of the rejection of reaching out. So I got to tell you, I was real impressed to see that you actually go across the country.
I do, and I share my story, and I'm a messenger speaker, and I teach women and teenagers that, it's not about what you look like. It's not about your outer looks. It's all about what's in your heart and soul, and that people need to stop relying on other people's opinions to make them feel great. I mean, I just get so mad when I see people having plastic surgery to make themselves look beautiful for somebody else. And to me, you've got to do this to make yourself look great and yourself feel good, not because someone else who's going to look at you is going to think that you're beautiful.
Well, so, I got to tell you, I admire your courage greatly. We're going to take a little break. I'm very glad you're here with us, Kelly.
Thank you.
Your courage is something that is inspiring to all of us who just have small wounds in our bodies. You had 80% of your body burned it too. Wow. We'll be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You stay tuned here. We're going to learn. Right after her, we have someone coming on from the fire department who's going to be telling us how to protect our children from what she went through. We'll be right back. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. I'm sorry, I was getting into the music, forgot to go online, and Jim was enjoying the music. Okay.
Not as much as you.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. We're here every Sunday night to give you information that will empower you in this coming week. It'll give you thoughts that will empower you, take you one step further. You listen, check in with us every Sunday night at 7:30. Join me on Facebook, Life with Psychic Suzanna, and Susanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. And also go to KFAB.com. That's where you find all the information you need for this surrounding area. If you were on Life with Psychic Suzanna or Susanna Stickney on Facebook or Twitter, you found out that we were going to be talking to Kelly. Kelly has written a book. She has written a couple books. The first book is No Risk, No Rewards. Self-Esteem Doesn't Come in a Bottle. Now she has a video at her website. Tell us, you've been inspiring. What would you want to say to everyone who has a scar on the outside on how to live their life daily?
I really want people to know that, just because they aren't perfect, it doesn't mean that they aren't beautiful. I'm so tired of, the media and people thinking that they have to have the most perfect body in order to be beautiful, and in fact, Susanna, you've seen pictures of me, and, the thing is, I'm 45, and I have been called, hot, sexy, gorgeous, beautiful, all these incredible
All right, don't make me
words.
jealous. Don't make me jealous. Just tell us.
But you know what I mean. I'm over 45, and I've been called all these names, and these are things that, I was the ugly Scarface girl, And when I was growing up, I never thought I was going to be seen as a beautiful woman. And so for me to get called that by people, it shows that it's not about the outer beauty. It's about the inner beauty. It's about the heart and soul. And it's all about, me following my passion and realizing that everybody in this world needs to learn how to love their beauty and accept it. And just learn that they don't have to rely on other people to make them feel great. And,
Perfect. Tell us how we find you. Tell us how we find your book. Give us some information.
Okay, well, on my website is www.mykellef.com. And you can also go to Amazon. You can look for Kelly Falardeau, and you'll find my books there. And also, I have a mobile site, too, and there's some freebies on there. So if you're...
What's a mobile site?
It's pretty much the same as my website. So it's www.mykellef.mobi. And Mobi is M as in mother, O, B as in boy, I. And there's also some free bonuses that they can, qualify for us. So, feel free to go and check that out also.
We certainly will. We certainly thank you for your inspiring story. You have empowered us, and that's what this show is all about. Thank you, Kelly, for being with us.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
Okay. We are going to be coming back with Captain Timothy McCraw, who is the Public Information Officer for the Fire Department. He's going to give us some ideas of how to stay safe during the summer. Also, a saxophonist who is on the street corner who really, really plays some great music. He'll be back with us right after the top of the hour. His name is Kuo, right? I said it wrong. Did I say it wrong? Kua. I love that. He's got a CD, MK7 Project. We'll be right back. In the background, this is Life with Psychic Suzanna. In the background, you don't get the normal noise that you get when we start. We have Kua. He's in the background. He was a street saxophonist. He will be with us here a little bit later. Right now, though, we're going to be doing some more talking. Right now, we're going to be doing some more talking. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You can always find us here every Sunday night. This show is about empowering you, giving you ideas that will support you in your coming week, giving you messages that will let you know how lucky you are to be alive and above the ground. Can you imagine growing up when being a teenager with 80% of your body burned? Come on. We're so lucky, yet we don't realize it until we see all that. Like the winner of Dancing with the Stars, J.R. Martinez, who inspired wounded veterans and burn victims to proudly show their scars. And he won at dancing. He had some great moves. Did you see that, Jim?
I heard about it. I did not see it.
My God. He had some moves.
One of those guys that don't always make it to that.
He had some moves.
Popular.
Right now, we are going to be talking more about burn and fires, and we're going to talk about, accidents don't give you warning, but we can try to prevent accidents. And right now, we are talking with Captain Timothy McCaw.
Hi there.
Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
I love that when I get it right. Captain Timothy McCaw is with the Omaha Fire Department, which is protecting the citizens of Omaha since 1860. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How did the Omaha Fire Department start? Do you know this?
Okay.
Well, in terms of
who started it or anything?
Well, as a municipality, we incorporated the fire department in 1860 and been going strong ever since.
Do you know how many started in it? How many are there now?
There's 624 sworn.
Fire department.
Fire personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How many volunteers?
0.
Really?
We're an entirely paid department.
We're so we have that. And you're here to help us understand how to keep ourselves safe while we're in the house. But most of the fires are in the house, correct? And
yeah, actually, most fatal fires occur in homes that are less than 1,500 square feet.
Really?
Yes.
Really. And so one thing that I think is, and did you know this, Jim? Did you know this, Jim?
No.
The fire department will come to your home, and what will they do for us, Captain?
Absolutely. As part of our Operation Home Safe door-to-door program, if you are a owner of a single-family dwelling within the city limits of Omaha, if you call 444-FIRE and set up an appointment, we will actually come to your home and install a smoke detector. If you have an existing smoke detector, we will replace the battery for you free of charge. We will install free of charge. Or if you would like, we will actually come into your home and give you a fire safety checklist so that you can also help keep yourself safe, even though we've gone through your home and helped you identify some areas.
Wow.
Yes, all free of charge.
All free of charge. You
Free of
give
charge.
us a detector and you'll install it.
Yes, we
That
absolutely.
means you'll get up on the ladder.
We
and do
bring
it?
our ladder, we bring our hammer and our drill, and we put it right where it needs to be. And
Marvelous.
Absolutely.
How many fire detectors does a home normally need?
Well, usually you want one in the sleeping areas, and then you want one close to the cooking and front entrance areas.
Okay.
So it depends on the square footage of the house.
I must tell you, we put one over my stove and we took out the battery because that was just
Well,
a bad
you don't
thing
really
to
want them
do.
directly over the stove because depending on what kind of detector you have, it's going to go off all the time.
Exactly. And I'm not that bad of a cook, really. I'm really not. But you'll come to our houses and do this for free if we
Absolutely.
live. How about apartment dwellers?
Now, with apartments, they're governed by a different set of rules, so we do not go
Okay.
into the apartments. But what we try to do is we try working with the property managers and the apartment managers, and we'll still give them the presentations and let them basically have the fire safety
An
tips.
ounce of prevention can do so much. Tell me,
Yes, we are Safe City USA.
Safe City USA.
Absolutely. Safe City. We have that. That is our trademark. Absolutely.
Why
Omaha,
are we
Nebraska.
Safe City USA?
Well, if you look at statistically, we've had, prior to the last 3 months, we only had one fire death in the last 3 years. And a lot of that is basically, it's attributed to a lot of things. Training hours, smoke detector programs, education. What we like to say is that what do we do as the fire department? We do three things. Mm-hmm. We prepare, we prevent, and then we protect. And when you break it
God
down...
bless you guys.
Oh, well, thank you. But that pretty much breaks it down to everything we do. What do? We prepare, which means we train, and we find better ways to do what we're doing. And we're in constant state of self-improvement. Secondly,
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
Secondly, what we do is we try to prevent. And how do we prevent? We have a door-to-door smoke detector program. We have, we're in the school. We saw 16,000 students last year.
Oh, my God, you rock.
16,000 students to talk about fire safety, what would happen, how for these children to educate their parents, and then also, if something were to happen inside the house, what measures can you take to make sure that you don't have any tragedies occur?
Wow.
So
That's phenomenal.
well, there's
Phenomenal.
624 men and women of the Omaha Fire Department that have basically dedicated their lives to helping others.
Making us a safe city.
Yes, we are Safe City USA.
Wow. All right, give us some ideas of how to keep the household safe for our children and things like that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. You know, there's some general safety habits. Basically, keep flammable items at least 3 feet away from anything that ever gets hot.
What would be flammable items?
Oh,
Tell
anything
me.
combustible, anything you have on your desk, your paper,
Okay.
clothing,
So,
book, anything,
yeah.
household items that can actually catch fire.
So you keep them away from, like, the stove.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
never smoke in bed.
Oh, that gets a lot. I'm amazed at how many people still do that.
Yes, never smoke in bed. That is unfortunately a major cause of fires.
Wow. Okay.
And also, when you're cooking, don't cook when you're tired.
Really?
Let's say you've had a long night. You come home, you're hungry. Next thing you know, you've put some stuff on the stove. You lay down on the couch. Next thing you know, you've fallen asleep, and what you put on the stove is caught on fire. And then it's communicated to your cabinets, and now it's communicated to your curtains.
Wow.
And, forbid the fact that maybe it was something in grease, and now your first reaction is maybe throw water on it.
You don't throw water and grease?
No, take a lid, cover it up. Turn the stove off, remove the heat source, cover it up.
You don't throw water on grease?
Do
Really?
not throw
Seriously?
Absolutely do not throw water on a
Okay.
grease fire.
I'm glad you're here. Okay, next.
If you have children, keep them 3 feet from the stove at all times. That's a good safety practice. First of all, younger ones with hands, they're very active. You never know when they can actually hit a burner. They actually self-light. So next thing you know, you've got a live burner going and you didn't even know it. So even when you're using the oven doors get hot. So at all times, keep children away from the stove. Stay in the kitchen when you're frying food or cooking with anything with oil. If you're using extension cords, especially this time of year as we get into the summer months and we've got fans and air conditioners, things, there's always a habit of getting some of those unsightly cords, putting them under a rug. Well, next thing you know, you're walking on that rug and there's a wear point on that electrical cord. Next thing you know, you've got a frayed electrical cord.
Under the rug?
Under the rug, of course.
You're kidding me.
Well, if you're a tidy housekeeper, well, don't do that.
I won't. Okay, what else can I do?
You can, if in the horrible event that you have a fire in your home, get out and call 911. And if you have a family, so in other words, there's more than just one person that you're concerned about, make sure that you have practiced home fire drills so that if you have children, you have a common area outside, whether it's a tree, whether it's a mailbox, someplace where...
So I don't have to be worried about the family.
Well, the other thing is when the fire department arrives, the information we can get from bystanders or actually the occupant, if they can tell us that everyone is out of the house, that helps us change our strategy of how we're going to fight that fire sometimes too.
Amazing.
And so, and the other thing is, as far as the smoke detectors are concerned, 50% of all fatal fires occur when they don't have a working smoke detector.
50%?
Yes. 50% of all
fatal fires?
Yes.
Are because they don't have a smoke detector?
A working smoke detector. And that's the key. Just like you indicated a second ago, you had one, but you took the battery out. Don't do that.
Well, don't do it above the stove. Okay.
And actually, I misspoke. I'm sorry. 50%, your survival chances increase by 50% if you have a working smoke detector. 70% of all fatalities occur in residents that don't have a working smoke detector. So your chance of survival increases by 50%.
Okay, what is the number I call again to get you to come to my house and put a
444-FIRE.
444-FIRE.
Yes.
Do you know what the numbers are with fire, out of curiosity?
I didn't know this was going to be a quiz.
It's a quiz. You always have to be prepared when you come on with Life with Psychic Suzanna. We want to give the easiest information possible, But that's all right. I'll check it out later.
It might be 3473.
3473 it is. I had my hand on the number.
3473. Yes. Okay. R444-FIRE. Free fire detectors for if you're a homeowner in Omaha, Nebraska. Installed, put up with the fire department.
Yes.
They bring the ladder. They bring everything.
Yes.
If you don't have a fire detector, please give them a call. The number is 444-FIRE. Thank you for stopping by, Timothy McCaw.
My pleasure.
You've been a blessing.
Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna. We're coming back with your calls, so it is time to give us a call. The numbers are 1-800-543-1110, 558-1110. This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
Psychic Suzanna.
Can't get through on the radio show? Call Psychic Suzanna anytime at 712-276-9349. That's 712-276-9349. Or visit her webpage, PsychicSuzanna.com.
This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. You can find us here every Sunday night at 7:30. This is the place you come for all the knowledge you need for the coming week. Well, not all of it, but we're trying to get you as much as we can every Sunday. You check in here. This is your destination point. Today we talked about fire safety. We talked about surviving a fire. We don't get warnings on accidents. It's what we do with what happens in our life that counts. And our first author of No Risk, No Reward, Our Beauty Doesn't Come in a Bottle, helped us understand how surviving the tragedy of being burned over 80% of her body. This show is about giving you ideas on how to survive your life. So join us on Facebook, Life with Psychic Suzanna. That gives you the insight of who's on there. Suzanna Stickney on Facebook and Twitter. Lets you know where I'm going to be, also lets you know what's going on, and gives you a thought that I'm working on, asking you to join me in the work on. This is also, please join us at KFAB.com. All the information you need to know about the surrounding area, nationally, internationally, it's covered at KFAB.com. The tapes go up on Tuesday on both PsychicSuzanna.com and KFAB.com, so you can listen to the show. If you know anybody who's having a tough time in life with a burn or something like that, listen to the show again. What an inspiring message she has. We have the author, the gentleman on who's going to be with us, playing us out of the instrument. His name is Kua. I saw him downtown. I love street musicians. You know, it's about using the ability you have to make money, to get things done. You don't always look for the big brother to take care of us. You do it yourself. And Kua was doing that. He has played for Elijah Israel and A-Zone and a reggae group in another town and another radio station, which will go unnamed right now. But right now, we're going to your phones. The number is 1-800-543-1110, 558-1110, and we're going to Savannah.
Hi.
Hi, Savannah. You're in Omaha, correct?
I actually live in Lincoln.
In Lincoln. And
yep.
Were you born and raised in Lincoln?
No, I was born in